She is one of the greatest women's fighters in the history of combat sports, and she goes for yet another title January 3rd in Puerto Rico. It is always my great pleasure to catch up with Holly Holm. Holly, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you. It's always good to catch up with you in between fights. I'm ready to go. Puerto Rico is just around the corner. So, this last hard week of training and then the week of the fight. So, I'm excited. It's almost here.
If I would have told you 5 years ago you'd be battling for another boxing world championship, would you have said, I think you're a little crazy?
I would have been like, I don't know. I don't know if I see that happening. But I guess over the time, I started to kind of see, I guess when I started to get intrigued again was I think a lot of people actually got really intrigued over which I love women's boxing, always will respect it, always will um be thankful for it and my whole journey with it. But when Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano fought at MSG and sold it out, it's like, man, that's the weight class I never really got to fight in when I was in boxing before. That'd be cool if I could go back and be able to fight one of these girls. And didn't know if I'd ever actually make it back to boxing, but here we are.
You look tremendous in your return, and I got to compliment you and your coaches because like your
Thank you.
transition into MMA, and I know you've done kickboxing as well, but you made one of the most seamless transitions because we know how tough it is. Because boxers, strikers always traditionally had a harder road because the wrestling and the grappling, but you made an incredible transition into doing mixed martial arts at the
Thank
absolute
you.
highest level, and now going back to boxing, like you didn't skip a step, Holly. Like it was kind of crazy.
Thank
I was
you.
like, maybe she's gonna look a little rusty. No, you look phenomenal.
Thank you. You know, two things. I definitely have the best coaches in the world, and that's a major thing. Not only are they the best coaches, they also support what my crazy dreams are. Coming from boxing, I'm like, I really want to do MMA. And they're like, all right, well, let's do it and let's do it right. And helped guide me with the right steps and the right path to get there. Um, Also, just I think them knowing in my heart when I really want something, they believe that because they know if I say it, I want to do it, and they'll stand by me, and we work together to achieve whatever that goal may be. And coming back to boxing is definitely a goal that I want a belt in the fourth division, so let's do it. And they're all on board.
So, how excited were you? Kind of a two-part question. Like, how has it been working with MVP, but then obviously getting the second match and getting Stephanie Hand, getting a title fight, and your second fight back to boxing? Like, I can't imagine you could have asked for a better, better path to get where you're at now.
Yeah, it's a group effort. Um, Having my manager as well. It's like, hey, she's gonna come back. We want to get a fight, get her ranked so that we can fight for a title and then get a big fight. And just having a goal when we come and having that guidance through not only my trainers but also my manager and all of us working together with a common goal and knowing that this is a vision that we have together. I didn't want to come back just for like it kind of sounds fun, or maybe this fight, or maybe it's like let's get ranked, let's fight for a title, and let's try and fight one of the biggest names out there and have this. It's not that I'm new to boxing. It's just been a while since I've been boxing. And so to come back, we wanted to be able to jump in it and just go all out.
And I think it says a lot about your character, Holly, that like in this day and age of what we call like influencer boxing, like you could have just said, "Give me some big name." Just make a spectacle out of it and have. And by the way, I wouldn't blame you for taking a big paycheck like that.
Yeah.
But you went in day one getting a tough boxer. Now you're getting a world championship boxer, and world championship fight in your second fight back. I mean, that says a lot about your character because you could have said that. You said, "Oh, give me the influencer, give me the name. I want to make a big paycheck and have very little risk." You're obviously going in there against one of the best in the world, Stephanie Hand. Like that's exactly what
Yeah.
you've always done. Huge credit to you. You didn't do that. Like here you are fighting for a world championship.
I think that I don't think I know. One of the main things I've always wanted to do in my career is fight the best. And currently, I wanted to fight them while they're currently ranked, not later, not after. I wanted to do take on the best when they are the best. And from majority of my career, pretty much 90% of my career has been like that. As soon as I got a belt in boxing, all of them were belts. All of them were highly ranked currently when I fought them. And same thing coming into MMA. had a couple fights, then fought for a title with Legacy Fighting, and then only two fights in the UFC, and then right for the belt, and then always ranked fighters top. And I want that. I never want to be a paper champion. So coming back to boxing, if that's something that's always worked for me and in my drive and in my heart, why would I change that? I want to come back and I want to fight the best.
What do you make of Stephanie? I think she's 11-0, obviously a champion. And this is not a knock on her, Holly. Like, if you look at this fight, like, I think a lot of people look at you as, like, the quote unquote A side because you're a bigger name. But obviously, this is a big opportunity for her, too, because she's going to get to fight a Holly Holm. Like, that's a big deal. So, what do you make of Stephanie?
She's a polished fighter. She's undefeated. She doesn't have as many pro fights as I do. However, she does have a lengthy um, background. She's been fighting since she was young. She's got kickboxing fights on her background, and I know that. I know that she's got grit, she's got discipline and ambition, and she's a polished fighter. She's not one that's going to come in and brawl. She's going to be calculated. So I just need to be the smarter fighter and the better fighter, and I truly feel that I am. Um, I I have all the respect for her. I just feel that I'm better.
And it's funny. I can't. We do a lot of interviews, Holly. So I'm going back quite a few years. I think it was right after you signed with the UFC, and we were talking about like making that transition. I think I remember one of our conversations at that point talking about like just the opportunities in boxing weren't great at that point, and obviously you'd
Mhm.
accomplished so much, and it was time to move on. You went into MMA and obviously became a massive superstar. Is it kind of fun to see the reverse now? Like these opportunities are here in boxing. Like you're going to be going down to Puerto Rico. Amanda Serrano's a huge star down there. You were just on the other MVP card, a huge card out there. We know, Katie Taylor's out there. Like, is it kind of fun to kind of have the reverse now that you're back in boxing? Like, there are big opportunities in boxing that maybe just weren't there before.
Absolutely. I think that I did I feel truly that I was a huge part of helping women's boxing in the path to get to where they are now. I missed a lot of the exposure of these, I had great champions that I was fighting when I was fighting in boxing before. We didn't have as much exposure. And coming into the UFC, it over time even grew more and more and started getting that exposure and being able to come back and fight in front of a lot of eyes and keep chasing a dream and keep I don't know, just it's a love I have, this sport. I love this sport, whether it be boxing or MMA. And it's been really fun to get back into touch with my boxing background. It is a full circle feel, and being able to come back and still show that I've got what I had back then plus more. I think that my style has changed a little bit since before, not extreme, but it has changed a little bit. And I feel like I have improved between my last fight and my fight now, as far as just my boxing combos and my timing and my movement and everything.
We are all guilty, Holly, of like looking at the future. It's impossible not to, especially with a name
Yeah.
like yourself, think about what could come from this. And I don't know if I just heard this like literally right before we talked. Eddie Hearn had said, they had asked Eddie about the rumors of the Ronda Rousey Katie Taylor fight, and he's like, I've not heard anything like real about that. But he
Mhm.
literally said, but Holly Holm, if she beats Stephanie Han, like we're really interested in Katie Taylor fighting Holly Holm in Ireland. I,
I would
I
love
know
that.
the answer. I know the answer, but I'm going to ask you, like, how interested would you be? Because like you talked about the Katie Taylor Amanda Serrano fight, you had the weight class you never got to fight in. I mean, would that not be an ideal scenario? Beat Stephanie Han and get Katie Taylor? Would that not be like the perfect?
It'd be amazing. My thing that I've been saying through this camp now is I've got goals and dreams, and my goal is to win this fight. This is the only thing I'm promised. This is the only opportunity I'm promised because that's the next fight in front of me. I need to win this in order to have the next door open. But I would love to have this fight. My goal is win this fight, and then my dream is to have a big fight like that over in Ireland. I have Irish heritage of my own, and to be able to go over there, fight the biggest name. There was kind of like talk, but not really, of when she first was leaving the Olympics and gonna maybe turn pro, but she stayed longer to go back to the Olympics, but I was still boxing at the time. And there actually was even like talk back then that, probably was never really going to happen. So maybe that's the fight that's always meant to happen, but better to happen now than before when it's such a bigger stage and more eyes watching. And she's made a name for herself and all of her accolades and what she's done with her career, as well as mine. And then being able to meet now would be amazing.
And I mean, what Amanda and Katie did was amazing. Certainly not taking anything away from that, but I think you and Katie Taylor could be arguably maybe the
Huge.
biggest boxing match in women's history. Like, I'm not crazy thinking that, right?
No, absolutely not. I think that she's been able to do a lot in her career, going to the Olympics and then having such a career that she's had in professional boxing, fighting, headlining Madison Square Gardens, things like that, that women have never been able to do before. She's done a lot, as well as I have done a lot with my career and made a name for myself. We both have been grinding and making a name for ourselves, and for us to be able to meet and go head to head would be amazing.
Holly, I always appreciate because like where you're at in your career and where you've always been at in your career, like you can kind of pick and choose who you talk to. You don't have to do a ton of interviews. You don't have to do a ton of media. Like when Holly Holm speaks, we listen. I know I'm one of the people you've always done interviews with, so I appreciate that. And there was a time during your career, like I went out of my way to never ask you about Ronda Rousey because so like it just came up so often because
Yeah.
obviously it was such a huge moment. But
Yeah.
listen, Ronda's name is in the news right now. I'd be remiss if I'd ask you. Kind of,
Yeah.
I'll start with this. I don't think it's going to happen. I think it was just a rumor. But like when you heard the rumor about her fighting Katie Taylor, because I was like, I think that's a dramatically bad idea. Like, no
Yeah.
offense to Ronda, like going into boxing, like fight a boxing match, great. Maybe don't like take Katie Taylor out of the gate. Did you? What was your reaction when you heard? Like, I don't think it's going to happen, but there was that rumor.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to happen either. I don't know if Ronda will ever fight again. But if she does, I mean, I won't be shocked. She was an Olympian, she was a champion, and you don't get to that point without having a passion for sports, with a passion for what you want to do. And if she's back feeling that, that'd be great. I don't think it'll happen, but if it does, I mean, if she comes back, I'm always open for a rematch too. So you never know what's going to happen with life, but I think if she's just enjoying training and coming back and has a little passion, just wants to get back in and train, that's one thing. She wants to fight. I mean, I never put anything like out of the possibility, right? I feel like everything is possible, and if she does come back, well, she fought before and she had passion for it before. Maybe she will find that again, or if she has found that again and wants to actually compete with it again, who knows? Maybe she just was enjoying training.
I did like, and I think with your career, Holly, like, and I mean this as an absolute compliment. Like where you're at right now, you're playing with house money. Like you've accomplished everything you could ever want. You're a freaking Hall of Famer in boxing
Thank
already,
you.
and obviously you're going to be a UFC Hall of Famer. Like you've done. So you retire tomorrow. You're like, dude, you've done everything. You have nothing left to prove. The general consensus I get from when I talk to people about Ronda, like the kind of fire she's shown recently, she get a little fired up, kind of getting angry about it. Is I just don't think she liked the way her career ended. She got knocked out by you, waited a year, whatever it was, came back, and she had to knock out to Amanda and then left. I understand that's a tough, bitter pill to swallow. Is there
Yeah.
any party that kind of agrees with that? Like, I think that's part of like the fire we're hearing right now. It's not just the competitive spirit. It's like she didn't like the way it ended. I get it, by the way. I
Yeah,
understand that.
I do too. I didn't like my last fight with the UFC isn't to win. I want to go back and I would love to get another win like that. I would love to be able to go back and actually, perform the way I know how, rather than not. Um, I think that Rhonda, I think she definitely didn't like how her career ended, but also she's a lot responsible for that because she pulled herself away. You see some of these champions that are reigning champions, they run into a hiccup and they at least face face the crowd, face the camera, face the fans, face it. There is, I believe, a little bit of a higher respect in that aspect. And I think that a lot of fans were like, man, she just kind of took off. And if she was to come back to a fight, people would cheer for her. And I feel like she always feels like everybody's against her, but she took herself away from the fans rather than them leaving her. Martial arts fans are and fight fans are they can be brutal, but also they're pretty just they're fans. They're fans of the sport and they realize that things happen not everything's always perfect. And I think if she would have faced it differently, um, no judgment on it, but I think if she would have faced it differently, it probably wouldn't have been maybe so negative as a whole in her own mind and how she felt, you know. And if she wants to come, maybe she feels she wants to come back and make it right for her and feel better about it and come in, and maybe she's got some itch in her that wants to get out and have a win, or there's every athlete's going to feel that. And if she does, then more power to her. We'll see what happens. And I think that it definitely needs to be if she really wants to fight, not just because she just wants it to be different. Because it won't be different if she doesn't truly actually just want to fight.
I love your attitude though, saying like, "Hey, I would fight her again because like you never shot." Like you could walk away and say, "I walked out with the greatest head kick knockout in the history of combat sports when I knocked out Ronda Rousey. I'm never going to top that." Even now, years later, you're like, "Sure, we would do it again." I love that attitude because even now, you're like, "Sure, we could." I mean, do I honestly think it's going to happen? Probably not. But
Probably not. Yeah.
the door's open. The door's
The
open. I
door's
love your
open.
attitude about that.
It's also one of those things, every loss I have, I wish I had the chance to avenge it. And I feel like every fighter should be able to have that. So who am I to say that somebody else can't try and come back? I would never let that happen. I'd still get another win. That's my whole goal. But yeah, there's been fights that every fight that I don't have a victory on, I wish I could have had a chance to avenge it.
And I'll get you out of here on this, Holly. Obviously, right now you're focused on boxing, and I love the idea of you winning this fight and getting Katie Taylor. I think that's a great. I'm just mapping
Right.
it out for you here. But so MMA is still on. Like it is still possible. Like there is still if the right offer comes along, there is still a Holly Holm future in MMA if the right offer comes along.
If the right offer comes along, exactly. It's one of those things that if it's this fight that, when I was boxing, whoever thought when I first started boxing, was I going to be fighting for a title? I didn't know. And I fought for a title many times over. Was I going to go to MMA? I didn't know. But then when I felt like it, I did it. Was I going to go to the UFC and MMA or just, I don't know. But I made it. And then when I made it to the UFC, was I going to be a champion? I don't know. And then became champion. And yes, when I went to the UFC, I had every intention of becoming champion, and I had, but who knows the future? It's not like I planned that out from the day that I had my very first, pro boxing fight. It wasn't like I'm going to box for 10 years. I always leave space for whatever opportunity opens and to take advantage of it. And if that happens, then great. As long as my heart's in it, that's number one, then I'll follow through with it.
I love it. Well, Holly, I love this match. I think this is going to be a huge card. Obviously, with Amanda Serrano and you on the same card, that's a massive card right there.
Thank you.
And obviously, I look forward to you fighting for a championship again. Like I said, hopefully, I'm just saying, the Katie Taylor
Hey,
fight in Ireland.
yeah, that'd be awesome. I hope so.
Well, and I sincerely mean this when I say it. Like I said, you get to pick and choose who you talk to. You always take time for me. I really do appreciate that.
I
Throughout the
appreciate your
entire career, you've done
interviews,
that.
so thank you. Yeah,
Absolutely. Well, Holly, thank you
appreciate
as
it.
always for the time.
Thank you.
I
Right.
know training camp's almost done now, but obviously have a great rest of your training camp. Safe travels
Thank
to
you.
Puerto Rico. Thank you for the
Thank you.
time.
Thank you for your time. Appreciate it. Have a good day.